Our top story, the debt stalemate in Washington, and joining us now is freshman Republican Congressman Austin Scott of Georgia, a member of the House Armed Services Committee, a member of the Agriculture Committee. Good to have you with us, Congressman. Let's start.
Thank you, Lou. Great to be here.
It's great to see you. And, what is your reaction? I mean, Speaker Boehner says absolutely no tax increases. You're a member of the legendary freshman class. Would your class support and back Speaker Boehner if he agreed to any kind of tax increase?
Well, I think we would look at the total value of the cuts versus the increase. But we as Republicans understand that higher tax rates will just send us further into a recession. If you want to get more revenue, the key to that is taking people out of the unemployment line and getting them a job and a paycheck. And it's pretty simple in the way you do that. You have access to capital for your business owners, you have regulatory certainty, and then you drive the unemployment numbers down. And that's how you get more revenue at the federal government, not by increasing taxes.
All right, now you said you would would you support, for any reason, an increase in tax rates?
Absolutely not. No increase in tax rates.
So you're talking about perhaps rolling back some subsidies, that sort of thing, correct?
We would certainly look at each and every issue as they come out.
No,
but I will tell you, the cuts have to be.
I don't want to be defensive about it. I'm just trying to get your position clarified. I'm not, going to ambush you with something here. But in the interest of clarity, I think the folks need to know what you're really saying and your colleagues are saying. You're not adverse to considering, if it's in a reasonable context, rolling back some of the subsidies.
If we have a subsidy that has not worked, the ethanol subsidy, for example, is a subsidy that I certainly don't support, because I think it's shown that it's not a wise use of taxpayer funds.
Fair enough.
So we would look at them line by line, but the cuts have to be larger than in any of those issues. And again, the way you get the higher revenue is access to capital, regulatory certainty, not increasing tax rates. It simply doesn't work.
It doesn't work for anybody but the folks who want to spend more of our tax dollars, and that would be, of course, in the interest of a lot of folks down there who seem to be, absolutely enamored of the idea of spending as many federal dollars as possible. We're hearing a lot of discussion about the negotiations. Are you getting any indication from your leadership as to how these negotiations are going? What is the strategy? What is the approach they're taking?
Well, I think one of the things that has occurred here is that the Democrats are insisting on tax increases. And Lou, I guess at this stage, probably the best thing would be for the president to maybe huddle with the Senate, put their proposal out there for the general public to see it. Him and the Democratic-controlled Senate pass what they want. Then we can come out after we actually see what's in his proposal and start this process of getting this thing going. But
what's the deal here? This administration seems to love, and I mean, the Obamacare legislation is a perfect example. Yeah. They rammed it through with urgency and created this, immediacy, and no one read the doggone legislation. It's a disaster because you and I talk here tonight, neither one of us knows precisely what's in that legislation. We learn more nearly every passing month, and it seems like this administration is trying to do the same darn thing. With $14 trillion, $16 trillion, whatever the number may finally be, on the debt ceiling increase. Why not put this thing out in front of people and you all start acting like adults down there?
Oh, I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, this is the general public. I mean, this is the economic future of our children. I think the public's got a right to know what's in it and what his proposal actually is. If you listen to him, he speaks in very arbitrary terms. Now, he gave a specific one time about 2 years ago when he said that his goal was to cut the deficit in half by the end of his first term, and we're here to help him do that. I'd love to see us cut this deficit in half within the next 2 years, and I think that's a good goal that we can work towards. But you've got to remember this. You've got a Democratic president that got 0 votes in a Democrat-controlled Senate on his budget. 97 senators that voted for on this president's budget absolutely rejected it. So I think he's got, maybe bigger problems with getting together a budget where he could at least maybe get 20 or 30 votes out of the Democrats in the Senate for his budget. But 97-0, they rejected this president's budget.
Do you think that a Republican congressman elected ostensibly by Tea Party as a Tea Party candidate should be returned to office if he or she supports an increase in tax rates as part of this debt ceiling?
I don't see how any of us could support an increase in tax rates. And again, Lou, if you want higher tax revenue, the key to that is jobs and getting people back to work. Access to capital, regulatory certainty. The Obama health care legislation, the national health care legislation, no business out there knows what that's going to cost. If you look at it, many of the people who have supported him have run to him and asked him for waivers for it, and he's been perfectly willing to grant waivers to people. Well, if it's such a good thing, why are you granting the waivers to the people that are asking for them?
Because they helped him get done what he wanted done, namely get elected and move along a little legislation, as you well know. Congressman, great to have you with us.
Hey, thank you so much.
Congressman Austin Scott. Up next, stocks tanked today. New debt worries abroad.